Hi, Julia.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, how are you?
And how are things going at the moment? What are you up to?
Things are fine. I'm sitting in the bowels of the theatre that Matilda, the musical, is about to open in, what I wrote songs for, and I'm writing some stuff, and I've got a DVD coming out, and I'm touring a bit in America. How are you?
I'm very good, thank
Good.
you. Honoured to have met you.
Fantastic.
Did you read Matilda as a child? Was it?
I did. It wasn't written till the mid-'80s when I was probably past my real Roald Dahl phase, being born in the mid-'70s. So Matilda was, I was more BFG, Danny Champion of the World, revolting rhymes kind of guy. Matilda came into my field of vision later on, probably because my little sister was reading it or something. And it crossed my mind about 10 years ago that it would make a great musical. And coincidentally, someone came and asked me to do it, which is nice.
How is the chocolate cake scene?
Chocolate cake scene's very good. It has a magic trick, or at least a mechanical device that allows a huge cake to be eaten. Or it's magic. It might just be magic. And the eating happens under a song called Bruce, which is it's a pretty fun song, actually. Kids dancing on desks. Can't go wrong.
You use music for lots of your comedy. What do you listen to in your spare time? What have you got on your iPod?
I have science and critical thinking podcasts on my iPod and demos of my own material. The latter I don't listen to, I just have them there in case I need to. They're like early mixes and stuff. And I don't listen to music very often at all. Maybe when I have people around to dinner, I'll put a CD on. And
what would that be?
Anything written before 1980, really. I listen to a lot of Kinks and Beatles and Stones and Deep Purple and old stuff, and quite a bit of jazz these days, just because I like it. But I also tend to listen to CDs people I know have given me. So if I've gone on loose ends and meet a band, and I go, wow, that's interesting. So, I found a guy called Soweto Kinch. I tend to listen to stuff after I've met them. I'm listening to a bit of Amanda Palmer. Amanda fucking Palmer, punk cabaret chick who's become a friend, and I'm listening back to her stuff. She used to be the Dresden Dolls. There you go.
And what about, I noticed on your Twitter feed you said you had a lot of respect for Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, well, I've sort of only just discovered him. I heard about this record coming out and actually, again, met someone who knew him, and they mentioned his name, and it didn't ring a bell, but then I went and checked him out just last weekend before his album came out, his debut album, and I went, oh, that's that kid. And so I was watching him thinking, Jesus, man, this guy's amazing. He's 19, I'm 36, and I'm nowhere near able to sing like him, and his songwriting, so he's so musical. So I just tweeted about that I felt like I either had to kill him or work with him to assuage my jealousy. And yeah, he seemed keen on that idea. So maybe not the death, the collaboration. So maybe we'll collaborate, or maybe I will have to kill him. If he dies in the next few weeks, you should blame me.
You mentioned his ginger hair.
Oh yeah, racist.
Yeah. Do you think he's doing good things for gingers?
I think he's waving the flag. There's a lot of good gingers out there, but certainly, being a ginge gives you drive, it's to show the fuckers. I'm not allowed to swear on this, really, am I?
You're more strawberry blonde, or
I'm not really a ginge, although you put me in the sun and my beard glows fiery phoenix red. So I'm sort of a ginger hue, rather than actually being able to point at a particular strand of hair and identify that as auburn or orange. But I definitely come from a ginger pool. But yeah, I push my luck with the ginger categorisation.
Do you think ginger people work harder to be noticed then?
No. I don't know what I think about ginger. I've always just joked about it, but I do wonder, I'm obsessed by data, and I do wonder if you did the stats on people with equal credentials going for a job, whether there is actually discrimination. We'll have to figure it out. I bet there is. Apparently, in Scandinavia over the weekend, it came out in the news that they don't want ginger sperm anymore at the sperm bank. Did you read that?
Did not.
No one wants it Apparently got 70 litres of the stuff sitting there, unutilised, because no one wants ginger kids. In Ireland, and I quote, it sells like hotcakes. I mean, I think hotcakes sell like semen. That's a ridiculous simile.
Can we talk about your hair?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we already are. I mean, yeah.
What do you do to
Well, it's curly by nature, and so I get it chemically straightened every 6 to 8 months, Japanese style, ionic. It's quite expensive, but it's worth it, twice a year. And then I back comb it and fill it full of hairspray, sometimes a little bit of wax if it's too clean. And then, but the main ingredient is dirt. So just not washing it. And then if I do 4 gigs in a week, I back comb it every night, and it just builds up this perfect grottiness.
Do you find that dirt has pulling power?
Oh yeah, chicks dig on dirt, yeah. Oh yeah, they love a grotty man. No, well, it's sort of self-cleaning, like a vagina. Apparently. That's true.
You say that your eyebrows are gently calmed.
Gently calmed? What does that mean?
That was the quote.
Is that a quote?
Did you get
That sounds like one of my website girls being hilarious. No, my eyebrows can be a little wayward. You make me really self-conscious about them. And they do a lot of work, not deliberately, but when I'm performing I've noticed they do a lot of work. But no, I don't groom them particularly. Every now and then there's a bit of loss of control.
You've got an enormous amount of eyeliner on in that shot.
Yeah.
How do you feel about, male makeup and that kind of
Well, I
thing?
feel incredibly strongly about it because I think I can attribute my career to it, really. For every hour of playing the piano, I think probably a bit of eyeliner has outstripped it in terms of causation of success. But I'm very fair. My eyebrows are fair and my eyelashes are fair, and people like a bit of definition in their face. But really, I just like dressing up, and I always thought it was funny to sit there playing piano, looking like a rock star, but singing songs about cheese. And that's kind of what my entire career has lent on, dissonance between look and content.
Just touching briefly on the eyeliner again. Kate Middleton has recently been criticised for wearing too much.
Really?
Sort of
That
full
little
circle
slut.
eye.
Can't believe they let her in. I got invited to Buckingham Palace recently.
Did you?
Yeah, I can't go. I'm in Ireland at the time, ironically. I guess that's ironic. I'm in the Republic at the time of the reception. I sent the master of the household a nice email, thanking him for the invite and sending Lizzie my love.
What would you have worn?
Probably whatever they wanted me to. I toe the line when it comes down to it.
You're famous for your skinny jeans.
Well, thanks. I thought it was my subtext, but sure.
Where do you get your style inspiration from?
Well, the hair and makeup and stuff kind of came just out of mucking around. But if anything, there was a Noel Fielding. I had a bit of a crush on Noel before I came over here or got to know him or anything. When I was still living in Melbourne, I discovered the bush and I wanted good hair. The makeup sort of came just because I used to be an actor and I used to wear a bit of makeup and I just started wearing more. And although probably the jeans came from brand, whereas people think I stole my makeup from brand, my makeup preceded my knowledge of brand, as did my hair. But the skinnies, I reckon, might have had a brand influence on me. I look amazing in them though. He's too thin. I've got quite chunky legs, which I thought meant that I couldn't wear them, but actually it's the other way around. They make your legs look skinny, so if your legs are too skinny, you're in trouble.
Top tip.
Top tip. Black skinnies.
And moving slightly at tangent to female bodies, you've declared
Love
yourself as a big fan of boobs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've got a song about... Well, the song's actually about how our intellectual and ethical lives are often overwhelmed by our nature. But yeah, it's also about boobs, yeah.
And your love for boobs.
Yeah, and I like boobs, but actually, boobs are a comic choice. Boobs aren't my priority.
You're not a boob man.
Well, not in the way that I am an arse man, but bums has a whole. It's much more complicated. Boobs have a comic purity. It's why what's his name? What's his name? Benny Hill. It's why Benny Hill did bums are complicated. He did bums as well, but boobs are innocent in a way, sexual but innocent. That's why the Brits love them. The Brits love a bit of sex but don't want anyone to say anything too crass, so they stick with the breasticles.
Bums far too complicated.
Bums are complicated. They're too near the actual action.
How do you feel about Pippa Middleton's bum then? Obviously, the most talked about bum of the year.
It's an incredible thing because I don't engage in pop culture too much because I think it's talked about a lot by other people and I'm better served talking about other stuff. But independently of any media or talk, I was struck by her bottom. I mean, like before I read the tweets, and I was like, the best thing about that wedding was Pippa's bum.
See, I don't know what the fuss is about. Maybe.
It's,
there's talk of padding. I mean, it's not particularly.
It was such a good bum that people are calling her bluff. Is that what you're saying? I don't see. There's plenty of bums like that out there, I imagine. But bums peak as well on women in terms of their ability to viscerally affect heterosexual men or homosexual women, I suppose, or just people with an appreciation of an aesthetic curve. They peak at a certain age and very quickly descend. And I think Pippa was lucky that her sister married a prince just at the right time, vis-a-vis her buttocks. And she wore a great dress. And the weird thing is, I want to be the sort of person that goes, how pathetic, everyone talking about this woman's bottom. And it is incredibly, disgustingly objectifying. But I would be lying if I didn't think that's a cracking bot. That's brilliant.
One question. Okay, sure.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Two more.
I was going to ask you whose boobs you admire in the public eye, as you were quite...
A boob in the public eye. You've got to be careful of those things. You could have the public's eye out. Look, as I say, I would like to state here on camera that I have a genuine moral objection to the objectification of women in the media. And absolutely genuinely can't think of boobs that I've paid much attention to. The Pippa thing was an exception to the rule, which is that I try not to ogle. I'm not particularly naturally inclined to ogle, but, you know, that dress.
Final question. As with Yahoo OMG, as in shop OMG.
Fuck me, yeah.
Is there anything OMG about you?
Trying to get me to use that particular anagram acronym. There's, I think, pretty much, if you could sort of conflate the sum total of everything I stand for, it's the opposite of OMG. So maybe that's not a question you're going to get asked to. I try to articulate slightly better responses to things than shock.
How about the last time you had an OMG moment? You must have. Without saying OMG.
Well, do you know what? The last time I had what someone might designate an OMG moment is walking into this theatre and watching the stage get built. It's very, very exciting. That was almost an OMFG moment. It's really, really cool to watch a theatre have its guts ripped out and replaced with your stuff.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, Julia.